Hi everyone, welcome to the StationeryFest podcast, and I am very excited to be joined today by Gemma from Wayzgoose. Gemma and Wayzgoose are very kindly collaborating with StationeryFest on a very exciting stamp rally book, which we will talk about a little bit further. But first of all, Gemma, tell me a little bit about you.
No worries. Hi, everyone. I'm Gemma. I'm from Wayzgoose, and personally, I am a mum of one. I am a stationery addict, confessed, have been for years, and I work as the brand manager for Wayzgoose, as well as a separate product called She Carries the World. So we'll probably talk a little bit more about that. But yeah, that's a little bit about me in a nutshell.
Fantastic. And where did this love of stationery, Gemma, begin for you?
For me, it was very much at school. I think I hate to say this, but I grew up in the era where we had them pencil cases that were like, like a zip up lid with there was a bit like a 7 Up or a pet my laptop around Pepsi's sort of like tube pencil case, and I had one every single birthday when I was a kid, and it kind of started from there. So it's kind of like what pens would I put in it, and highlighters and notebooks, and it just basically escalated to the point where I'd buy empty notebooks just because I liked them and never had a use for them, but they would just sit on a shelf, much like the one behind you, Bex, where there's loads of books. But I'd just have shelves full of empty notebooks that I would never use. And yeah, basically it just carried on from there, really. And then I can't say my dream job came up, but it actually did, in that I work for a stationery manufacturer. So it's kind of the perfect fit for a stationery addict, shall we say. But yeah, it started very young for me.
That nostalgia, that excitement, those
Yeah.
products, I can remember it well. And yeah, it carries on today, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does. A trip to, well, in the old days, paper chase was just, I couldn't do it without spending an absolute fortune. So, yeah.
For sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Oh, fantastic. And are you a planner, a journaler, or just a stationery lover in general?
Well, I'm an all-round stationery lover, but actually, when it comes to my day-to-day, I'm definitely a planner. I use sort of like daily planners, and I always have done from probably being in my early 20s, sort of, starting my career and working through from there, really. So for me, it was always stationery first, and then like just a love of planning grew really from there. So yeah, I'm definitely a planner.
And is that very functional or is it very pretty? Do you put stickers in your planner or highlighters?
Well, yeah, so I'm a bit of both really. So I'm more functional, so I use it to keep on track of things and write down memories and like sort of make notes in that respect. But at the same time, every now and again, I indulge in a sticker or two, and just like maybe if it's like a really special moment, I'll put like stickers with it and things like that. I might like doodle around stuff. So for me, it's more function, but then I do get carried away from time to time as well.
I love it. It can just adapt, can't it? However the mood
Yeah,
takes you.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. And obviously, you mentioned that you've got lots of unused notebooks that are too maybe lovely that you're saving. But obviously, do you use a lot of notebooks as well?
Yes, yeah, I do. I mean, I've got a notebook for probably different things in my life. So like a bit like probably everyone, but like a day-to-day diary or a planner. And then I've got like two or three notebooks that are for different projects or different things. And it's kind of dependent on where I'm going or what I'm doing. It's like, oh, I want a pretty one for this, so I'm going to take that one with me. And yeah, I'm very selective about which ones I use for what, really. But my friend got married a few months ago, and she asked me to be a maid of honor. So kind of at the time, she got a planner as a gift from me because I knew how useful it would be for her. But then at the same time, I bought myself a matching notebook. So whenever I'd meet up with her, I'd kind of like make notes for her in the notebook, and then when the wedding happened, I gifted it her after. It was a bit of like I wrote little notes about things at the time with her. So it was just, yeah, I always pick the notebook based on what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm definitely very selective when it comes to my stationery.
For
But
sure,
I've
for
still I've
sure.
still got a lot of empty notebooks on a shelf that my other half goes mad about because he goes, we're moving house soon, we need to get rid of lots of things. And I'm like, you can't touch my notebooks. That's just
It's
not allowed. It's off limits.
the works of
So
art. That's how I see them.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, there was one that I bought from Craven Stationery in Skipton,
Yeah.
because that's sort of local to where I'm from. And I bought it in about, I want to say 2010. It was a long time ago, and it's still empty, and it's a paper blanks, and it's beautiful. And I can't write in it because I don't know what to write in it, but I just look at it every now and again. It's perfect.
And it makes you happy, even though you just
Yeah,
look at
very happy. Yeah, 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 definitely.
it. Brilliant. So tell me a bit more then, Gemma, about Wayzgoose.
Okay, so first of all, it's an unusual name. But actually, it was quite an easy choice as a name for the brand and the business. But basically, a Way's Goose originated from the print master trade. So back in the 1800s, um, every year on the 24th of August, the printers would celebrate going from summer to winter by sort of printing by candlelight. So the idea would be they'd celebrate every year this change in the season and the change in their sort of printing habits, and they'd have a celebration event to celebrate that time of year of the change in candlelight. And they called it a Ways Goose. Now the name originated from various different places, and no one can really confirm where it came from. But actually, it's quite a fun name, and it's very sort of related to our trade in terms of we're printing and making planners for people's passions and hobbies. Um, and in the original village where the Wharfdale printing press originated. So it kind of really fits in with kind of us and what we're doing. And also, we just really love the name. It's just quite fun. So yeah, it's an unusual one, but yeah, good. It's a fun one.
Love that. A bit of
Yeah.
history and it all ties in. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
and I think for us, it's the fact that yeah, we are still printing and we're British manufacturing, we're making things here. It's made by us, it's designed by us, and in the same time, we've actually got one of the original Wharfdale printing presses in the factory. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's a bit of history, basically. We just, yeah, harking back to where we've come from.
I think that's so important, isn't it? That
Yeah, yeah,
wow.
yeah,
So
definitely.
how long is the history? How far back
Oh,
roughly?
good question. In terms of Way's Goose, obviously we launched last year as a new sort of startup brand. But as part of the building that we're in, it's from 1837, so it's got a very long history. Um, the person who started the business was an apprentice to William Payne, who was part of the original Wharfdale printing press. So it's kind of like all to do, it all ties in with that. So yeah, around 1837 was when we originated as the business. And then yeah, Way's Goose is just the newest division of that basically. But yes, it's all very exciting, and it goes back a long way. And the term Wayzgoose, I think, even goes further back than that because some say it has like a German origin, and some Old English connotations to do with Ways being to do with a local inn, and the goose being served at the meal to celebrate the changing of the season. So yeah, there's a lot of history around it. So go and have a read up about what Ways Goose is. The wiki page is a bit loose, so maybe ignore it. But there's a lot of page. An American company did a write-up about what Ways Goose is and what Ways Goose stands for. So yeah, there's a lot of facts in there, but
I
no
need to
one really
check.
knows, which is it's quite a mystery.
We need to get Rolly Allen, the
Yes,
history of the notebooks in. I don't know if he
yes,
mentions it or whether, but I think he's working
yeah.
on another book, isn't he? So we
Oh,
should
I'll have to chat with him.
contact him, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. Oh, because that's fascinating. I
amazing.
love it. Love it.
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah. There's a lot of history in stationery and where things have come from, and a lot of terms as well. So yeah, that's why we chose the term and name Way's Goose because we just thought it really harked back to where everything started and why people would choose stationery in the first place, like hobbies, passions, interests, things like that.
So tell us a little bit more about your kind of product range,
Okay.
the specialist kind of planners that you make with Wayzgoose, first of all.
Yeah, sure. So within Way's Goose, we have plans for lots of different hobbies, and we're bringing stuff out all the time. So I'm just gonna grab some that I've picked out here.
Oh yeah.
So things like we do like fishing logbooks, bird watching logbook, gardening. So things like that people might want to keep track of themselves and ways to actually fuel the passions and learn more from what they're doing themselves too. So things within the fishing logbook that, people might go to a certain spot to fish and then decide that that bait didn't work on that day and this was the weather type and why things might not have happened. So that the next time they go out again, they could reflect back and actually go, right, well, that didn't work for me last time, so I might try something different, or something might have worked and therefore they might have better fishing trips. So it's things like that really. And especially with the gardening one, when you've actually planted something, what kind of plant it was, have you used any sort of fertilizer on there? And you can see this, they go into quite a lot of detail. I don't know if you can see this, but they all go into quite a lot of detail within each individual planner. So everything's sort of being created with people with these hobbies and interests. So I confess I'm not a gardener. I've got plants behind me, and we have got a houseplant logbook. But in terms of the contents within these planners, we've actually worked with people who have these hobbies and interests to develop what should be in these books and actually decide, what would be useful for someone to know when it comes to when to plant something, how to plant something, what space and depth have you given it, and a lot of the detail is stuff I would never think about, and there's not a lot I could research it to my heart's content, but actually doing it is very different, and I think that's why it's so important that these are for people's hobbies. The people that have created them are the ones that would end up using these types of products as well. So I don't want to say we're just a facilitator, but we're creating these lovely products that actually can help fuel people's passions and interests. So yeah, we've got gardening, bird watching, fishing, houseplant logbook, and then the latest ones that we've just launched this last couple of weeks are workout logbooks. So this is something that's a little bit more close to me because I do gym training, I'm a CrossFitter. But basically in terms of training, what would you want in like an everyday one? What would you want for 3 months if you're doing sort of like a 3-month fitness challenge, or at least see a lot of these transformations online and things where people use them to get better at lifting or just in terms of physical strength and things like that. And then the same with the 6-month one. So that's a new collection that we've brought out in the last 6 weeks. But actually we are bringing products out all the time that are really designed in depth to support people with passions and interests.
And I think, hobbies, passions, it's so important. I think,
Yeah,
those analog kind of pursuits as well, those kind of wholesome,
yeah,
elements are really important.
absolutely. I think for me personally, I've tried apps before for various things and nothing sits in, it doesn't sync, like it just doesn't feel right. And there's also something nice about, for example, if I was to go to the gym with one of my logbooks, I'd be sat there thinking, right, I've written this down, I've clocked it, and then next time I go, I can open that page and it's sat there and you can easily reflect on what you want to work on or what you want to challenge yourself with. In an app, it just doesn't feel the same. And I think analog is definitely, when it comes to things like this, it helps you to remember, but it just has that really nice, wholesome feel. And I don't know if that's just me because I'm into my stationery and I love it, but actually, I think anyone, if they're writing something down, it's a lot easier to remember what you've done, and also just that really good feeling that you're getting from filling something in and completing it. It's like that big tick in your tick list. It's that same feeling, but you're doing it towards something that you want to work on or you're passionate about.
And there's a lot of research around that, like academic research about
Yeah,
writing by hand, isn't there, and the connection to
absolutely.
your brain and that tactile kind of element and
Yeah,
typing or like you say in an app, it's so easy to forget and it seems impersonal somehow, whereas
yeah,
writing is more, involved, isn't it? And
absolutely. And I think it's seeing it written in your own handwriting.
yeah,
So there's something about that as well because you're almost owning your time, you're owning your responsibility and in the action. So I think in your own handwriting, in your own way, you've written it down, whereas in an app, it's quite easy to just type the same thing or copy and paste it, and you kind of lose that authentic self you have within an app, basically, I think. But yeah, that's my own personal opinion. But it's the same when it comes to things like revision. So if you were revising for a test, you write things down, you use flashcards. It's that same practice, but for your passions and your interests, it shouldn't be any different, really. Yeah,
Sure, I agree
yeah,
wholeheartedly. So
absolutely.
you mentioned another brand as well then, the She Carries the World brand. Do you want to tell
Yes,
us a
I
little bit
did.
about
Yes.
that as well?
This one's a little bit more close to my own heart, really, because basically She Carries the World started um, when I found out I was pregnant. So I currently have a 9-month-old. At this time, it's July. So yeah, 9 month old now. But when I first found out I was pregnant, I was using a diary, doctor's notes. I was under consultant, so I had consultant notes. I had notebooks coming out my ears, and my bag that I was carrying around with me was getting heavier and heavier. And to anyone who's been pregnant, you'll know it gets harder and harder as you get heavier and heavier because you're carrying a child that you don't want to be lugging around 10 books at a time. So what ended up happening was I created my own layouts of what I would want in something because when I was searching for things online, nothing kind of fit what I was looking for. It was all the lovely stuff like, like keepsake books with scan pictures and all that stuff in which is beautiful. And, that's something I have actually got as well. But it's the fact that I wanted something that was really functional. So I've already mentioned I'm quite functional as a person anyway, when it comes to planning. But it's that I was so stressed. I had appointments coming out my ears and I couldn't remember anything for love or money because I just had so much going on. So yeah, this sort of draft version of my own planner effectively was made. So I created this. It was She Carries the World planner, and the idea is you use it for everything, for your own appointments, for baby, for questions, for midwives, but just basically everything that could cover you from the moment you find out you're pregnant right through to 1 year. So it's like you've got a whole year's worth of a planner that you can get used to using. The same questions are relevant, baby symptoms, any questions you might have for a doctor or a professional, all that stuff's within it. But the idea was I wasn't then carrying around 10 books. I had one to work with. Um, and the brand name She Carries the World came from the fact that I genuinely felt like I had the whole world on my shoulders at one point because I was quite stressed about work and social life and trying to fit everything in around that whilst being pregnant and being quite uncertain because I was consultant led for various reasons. I just was like, yeah, I feel like I've got the weight of the world on my shoulders. So She Carries the World was kind of a play on the fact that, yes, I was carrying all this stress, but I was also carrying a child. So yeah, it's that she's carrying everything. And I think it really resonates with the idea of, yeah, when you're pregnant, you do genuinely feel like your mental load's heavy, and even as a new mum, your mental load's massive. So to try and get everything onto paper really helped me. So what then happened was when I finished sort of my mat leave and started coming back to work, they were saying, do you know what, we should definitely think about, if this is something that's helped you, would it help other people? I was like, well, yeah, actually, I think it probably would because, as I say, I couldn't find anything personally for me that was going to work beforehand. So I made my own, so why not? So yeah, we created the She Carries World planner, which is this lovely thing. I don't know if you can see the stamping on the cover. Yeah, it's really lovely. But there's different linen covers and then there's printed covers. So there's something a bit for everyone. It's got a bit about me in there, but then the actual layouts themselves are all modified to sort of fit various times in your journey and what you're working on, appointments, things like that. So it really does go into depth and detail within each product of guiding someone through the early stages of pregnancy right through to, as I say, it's 52 weeks in total, so you've got a full 9 months plus of a planner. So yeah, I'm really passionate about this one because obviously it's something from my journey, but equally I do believe that it's part and parcel of being able to help other people who might also have been struggling as well.
And
So
that will
yeah,
be lovely to look back on as well, because to be fair, I was recently at a baby shower and
nice.
we were talking about our pregnancies and our birth experiences and things. And it's amazing actually how quickly you kind of forget and things and you think, oh, I wish I knew that, I wish I could remember that.
Yeah,
And we're talking different appointments and like the journey and like like you say, what the midwives kind of discuss with you and tell you and
yeah,
your different medical appointments and stuff. So I think that will be a lovely log to have and to show your children potentially as well and
Yeah, absolutely. And
decorate.
I think this is it. So when I was growing up, my mum had done one for me, but it was very much the your first visitor at the hospital was, and sort of when I my first teeth come through, and when I first spoke, and all them things were lovely, and they're all things you could also put in that plan if you wanted to, but it was kind of it's a very different type of product to what else was out there in that at 15 weeks your baby's the size of an orange or whatever it says in the other ones that are keepsake ones. That's great, but at the time I was so stressed. I was like, oh my God, I'm supposed to go into the midwife, but I had a question. I can't remember what it was. So it's things like that where actually those things, again, to reflect back on, would be really useful for, say, I don't know, when my little girl grows up and if she ever wants to have children or whatever, she could talk to me about it and I go, actually, I've got this lovely book from when I was pregnant, when actually I didn't have it because I have the pieces of paper, which was the first version. But it's that thing of, yeah, other people may be able to share that with people in the future and how their experiences were. And as you say, you forget a lot. So I've forgotten quite a lot about my birth, which wasn't a bad thing. But at the same time, it's that thing of actually being able to communicate that in the future to my little one would be really lovely. Yeah.
So, well, that was another conversation we had with my mother-in-law at the baby shower as well. She was saying about how when she gave birth, she has four children, and the
Wow.
father wasn't allowed to be present, and all those changes. So you can imagine as well in the future, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
again, I think things will probably maybe not quite as drastic a change, but there might be other changes as well. So I
Yeah,
think it's
absolutely.
lovely, isn't it? And like you say, it's such an important and an overwhelming time.
Yeah,
Um, so,
yeah.
that's lovely that you've, created this product that sounds really functional and, a beautiful
Mm.
record as well.
Yeah, it's a bit of both things really. So yeah, it definitely very proud of that one. And yeah, I'll be bringing that one to Stationery Fest as well. So if anybody wants to come and have a look and have a chat about it, then yeah, absolutely come and have a flick through and see them for yourself.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And have something to show as well. I'm so excited. We discussed this collaboration, and it's been an absolute pleasure working with you. And we cannot thank you enough for the support that you've
Um,
given in creating something very, very special. So basically, anyone that is a social lounge attendee and anyone that is a VIP at Stationery Fest will get a very special stamp rally book, which I'm going to show now on the screen. So there's two beautiful designs here. Obviously one with the stamps and one with the kind of scrapbooking type theme. And inside we've got, yeah, it's all beautifully presented. There's obviously the checklist as well, which is really helpful, and obviously the plain pages. So it's A6 size to obviously collect, the stamps as you're going around. And yeah, it's just so exciting to see it and to work with you and through the design process and get updates about the manufacturing. And then obviously to have these arrive, it's just so exciting and they look
yes.
amazing. They just feel brilliant. Like as well the kind of print and the texture, and I'm just over the moon. So
Oh,
yeah,
brilliant.
I hope the social lounge attendees and the VIPs really, really enjoy kind of filling them up and have a really special keepsake and memento from the event as well. So thank you for
Oh,
working, collaborating with us on this. It's absolutely a brilliant thing, and I'm
you're
sure
welcome. It
that
was a lovely project. It was so nice. Yeah, I was really excited myself because I wanted to do the stamp rally last year because I attended as a guest as well. And it was one of the things that I was like, oh, I really want to do that next year. And then when obviously we've had the opportunity to work together on them, it's just been so lovely. So I'm really excited to see people filling them up on the day as well.
sure, for sure. And so, Wayzgoose, are you going to be part of the stamp rally as well?
Yes, yes, we will. We'll have a
Brilliant.
stamp on our stand. So yes, come and see us for sure.
It's been absolutely lovely, lovely chatting. You can never get enough of talking about stationery, about
No.
Stationery Fest, about these beautiful products that obviously you've created and that you're producing and manufacturing. And yeah, we can't thank you enough for your support of Stationery Fest and, for this fantastic collaboration. So yeah, we're really looking
Oh,
forward to seeing you in, it's not very long now, in 24th and the 25th of July. You're there on the
yeah,
Saturday, aren't you?
we are. Yes, I think we are number 74
In the auditorium, that sounds
auditorium.
right. Yes.
Yeah,
So people will, yeah, come along, chat to you. And thank you so much for chatting to me today as well, Gemma.
no problem at all. Thanks, Bex. It's my pleasure.